Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive. And today we're going to be looking at dating.
Ooh,
Dating in 2024.
I like it.
So we found this really interesting article in LE magazine.
PLE magazine, okay.
It's called How We're Dating Now. And
I mean, how are we dating now?
right.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, this article is already saying that even 2023 is like so last year.
Oh, wow. So we're already outdated.
We are already outdated.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, like even
We're-
trying to keep up with what was happening just, a few months ago is like impossible.
Well, I'm ready to learn. I mean, I'm ready for the update. Let's get the software update.
Okay, let's install that update.
Yeah.
So this article talks about
Hit me.
all kinds of stuff like therapy speak
Oh, therapy speak in dating.
in dating, yeah.
Okay.
They talk about the cost of loving crisis.
Oh, that sounds heavy.
It is a little bit heavy. But before we get into all that, I'm curious.
Yeah.
What does the article say is like the biggest change in dating? Like what's the big headline?
Yeah. What's the biggest shift?
Well, it basically says the old dating playbook is like totally gone. It's over.
Oh, wow.
Like imagine someone trying to date now using advice from like a decade ago.
Oh, my gosh. That's like showing up with a flip phone.
Exactly. Like what do I do with this?
Yeah, you're using the wrong app.
The article actually compares it to watching someone from like a political satire trying to use a smartphone for the first time.
That's a good analogy.
Total bewilderment, right?
Yeah.
And they say the main culprit is dating apps.
Of course, dating apps.
Even if you don't use them, they've like completely changed how we think about dating.
I've never used one.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, believe me,
Oh, okay.
they're everywhere. They're
And-
like, they're shaping the culture.
I believe.
It's all about like this radical transparency.
What do you mean?
Like you put everything out there from the start. This is who I am. This is what I want.
Okay, this is what I'm looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whether you're looking for your soulmate or just someone to,
Hang out with.
hang out with, get tacos on a Tuesday. It's all out in the open.
I mean, that makes sense.
Right.
So, no more playing games.
No more games.
Okay, I kind of like that.
Right. It sounds good in theory, but here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
The article says that this whole abundance of choice can actually lead to what they call the paradox of choice.
The paradox of choice. Okay, I've heard of that.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Is that like when you're scrolling through Netflix for like 3 hours and then you end up watching nothing because there are just too many choices?
That's a perfect example.
Oh.
So it's like we have all these options,
Right.
but it makes it harder to choose.
Yeah.
So we end up like wasting more
Yeah,
time.
you're just paralyzed by all the options.
Exactly. So instead of making dating easier,
Right.
apps can actually make it like way more complicated.
Yeah, more overwhelming.
More overwhelming.
Exactly. And some apps even like compare finding a date to ordering fast food.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like it's supposed to be quick and easy.
Like swipe right, and then boom, there's your date, right? But in reality, it's often a lot more
complicated. Yeah.
complicated,
Yeah.
yeah. And frustrating.
I can imagine.
So it kind of makes you wonder, like with all this added complexity,
Mm.
why do we even bother?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why
Right.
put ourselves through this?
Right. Like why subject ourselves to all the ghosting and the awkward dates and the
what ifs.
the what ifs.
It's
Yeah,
the maybes.
the maybes, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the article hits on something really important when it talks about the magic of hope.
The magic of hope.
Like despite all the challenges,
Yeah.
we keep putting ourselves out there because deep down,
Yeah.
we still believe in the possibility of finding something special.
Yeah, we're all looking for that spark.
That spark, that connection. The person
Hello.
gets you
Yeah,
and makes you laugh.
absolutely. Makes all the bad dates worth it.
Totally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think hope is a big part of it.
It has to be.
But the article also points out that there's this shift happening
What kind of shift?
in how we view dating and relationships in general.
How interesting. Okay.
Like it's not necessarily the be-all and end-all anymore.
So it's not the only thing we should be focusing on.
Exactly. And they say the pandemic actually played a role in this.
Oh, wow.
Like it forced us to confront our need for connection,
Yeah.
but also made us realize that connection can come from lots of different places.
Not just romantic relationships.
Right. Not just romantic relationships.
Yeah.
It could be
Friends, family.
friends, family. Yeah.
Community.
Chosen family, community.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's not all about finding the one anymore.
Okay, so we're branching out.
We're branching out.
Exactly.
And the article compares it to how we've reframed the word childless to child-free.
Oh, that's a good point.
Like, it's not about what you're lacking.
Right.
It's about what you're choosing.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing a similar shift with being single.
Oh, interesting.
Like, instead of seeing it as this, like, negative state.
Yeah, like you're incomplete.
Exactly. It's about embracing the fullness and the possibilities that come with it.
So it's about being single and being happy.
Yes. Being single and being happy and fulfilled.
I like that.
And you know what else the article says is super important?
What's that?
A good sense of humor.
Always.
You got to be able to laugh at all the craziness of dating.
Yeah, the ups and the downs.
The ups and the downs, all the awkward moments.
Yeah,
So yeah, humor is key.
absolutely. I mean, if you can't laugh at yourself,
Totally.
what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Right. Now, on a more serious note, the article also highlights some pretty amazing benefits of being single.
Okay, stability.
Like, for one thing, it's a time for exploration and adventure.
Oh, yeah.
You have the freedom to travel,
Ah,
to pursue your passions,
nice.
to meet new people without having to, like,
Coordinate with someone.
coordinate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, imagine you want to go on a spontaneous weekend trip.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to check in with anyone.
Just go.
You just go,
I like that.
right?
Yeah.
It's all about serendipity and spontaneity.
So being single is all about freedom.
It's about freedom.
Mm.
It's about self-discovery.
Oh, that's nice.
It's about really getting to know yourself.
Figure out what you want.
Yeah, figuring out what you want in life and building a life that you love independent of a partner.
Oh, that's empowering.
It is empowering.
Yeah.
It's like, this is your time.
Yeah.
This is your journey.
And you're writing the story.
And you're writing this story. Exactly.
Yeah, I love that.
So it's not about waiting for something to happen to you.
Uh-huh.
It's about creating your own happiness.
That's powerful.
It's about embracing the journey, all the ups and downs that come with it,
Yeah, and learning from those.
and learning from them and using them as opportunities to grow and evolve.
I like that a lot.
Right. So it's like a whole new way of looking at being single.
It really is.
It's not a waiting room for a relationship.
Yeah.
It's a valuable experience in and of
I
itself.
feel like its own chapter.
Its own chapter. Absolutely.
We gotta read that one.
You got to read that chapter.
Mhm.
Now, before we move on,
Yeah.
I want to circle back to that term you mentioned earlier, therapy speak,
Oh, yeah. What is that all about?
because I'm hearing it everywhere.
Me too.
Like, all these therapy terms are popping up in dating conversations.
Yeah, like attachment styles and setting boundaries.
Exactly. It's like everyone's suddenly a therapist.
Well, maybe we're all just becoming more self-aware.
Maybe. I mean, the article points out that it's becoming increasingly common for people to use this kind of language when they're dating.
I mean, it's definitely a change from like, back in the day when it was all about playing it cool.
Right. Like, you couldn't show your emotions.
No vulnerability.
No vulnerability whatsoever.
Yeah, it's like put it all out there.
Put it all out there. But is this a good thing?
Yeah, that's the question.
Is it making us more emotionally intelligent?
Right.
Or is it just overcomplicating things?
Yeah. Because do we really need to be analyzing each other's attachment styles on the first date?
Like, can we just enjoy the tacos?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's a delicate balance, right?
Yeah.
Between being open and honest
Yeah.
and not overanalyzing every interaction.
Right, because you don't want to scare someone away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like we need a whole new set of skills for dating now.
Yeah. It's like learning a new language.
It is. It's a whole new language.
But I think ultimately it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this shift towards emotional awareness and transparency,
Yeah.
I think it can lead to more authentic and fulfilling connections.
I hope so.
Me too.
Now, before we wrap up this part of our deep dive,
Yeah.
we have to talk about the cost of loving crisis.
Oh, yeah. That sounds a little scary.
It is a little bit scary.
Yeah.
So this is all about the financial anxieties of dating and relationships.
Oh, okay. So it's like the economics of
The
life.
economics of love.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, everything's getting more expensive.
Yeah. Rent is outrageous.
Rent's outrageous. Groceries are outrageous.
Going out is expensive.
Going out is so expensive.
Yeah.
And then there's the pressure to, like, keep up with all the social media trends.
Oh, yeah. The fancy dinners, the vacations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all that can put a huge strain on people's finances.
Yeah. It's like you need a good paying job just to go on a date.
I know, it's crazy. And it's something that a lot of people are struggling with, especially younger generations.
Yeah. I can imagine.
They're dealing with student loan debt
Right.
and a tough job market.
And then they're supposed to find love on top of that.
Right. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So this cost of loving crisis is definitely having an impact on how people are dating.
I bet.
They're being more selective about who they go out with.
That makes sense.
They're having open conversations about finances early on.
Yeah. You don't want any surprises?
No surprises.
Uh,
It's not just about romantic starks anymore.
mm,
It's about financial compatibility
right.
and shared values around money.
Okay. So love and money,
Love and money.
they're intertwined.
They are definitely intertwined.
Mhm.
And I think that's a really important conversation to have,
Yeah.
both as individuals and as a society.
Absolutely.
So the modern dating landscape, it's a mix of exciting possibilities
Yeah.
and some pretty daunting challenges.
It's a roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster. And I think this article does a great job of capturing all the nuances of this ever-evolving world.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to think about.
It is a lot to think about.
Yeah, it really does feel like we need a whole new playbook.
Right. Speaking of playbooks,
Oh, here we go.
the article talks about this whole red flags thing.
Red flags everywhere.
Red flags everywhere. It's like we're all obsessed with them.
Well, I mean, with the dating apps, it's like you're constantly looking for reasons to swipe left.
Yeah. And the article says that this can actually be a problem.
A problem? How so?
Well, for one thing, it can lead to some pretty snap judgments.
Oh, yeah, you see one little thing and you're like, nope, not for me.
Exactly.
Huh.
Like maybe they mention they love pineapple on pizza,
Oh, deal breaker.
and you're like, oh my gosh, a monster swipe left.
Bye.
But maybe they're actually like a really amazing person.
Yeah, you could be missing out on something great.
Exactly. So the article says that while it's good to be aware of red flags, we shouldn't let them completely rule our dating lives.
Okay, so don't get too caught up in the red flags.
Right. It's about finding that balance between being cautious and being open-minded.
I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like sometimes a red flag is just a flag,
Not a stop sign.
not a stop sign. You got to give people a chance to explain themselves,
To redeem themselves.
to redeem themselves. Exactly. And the article also says that all this focus on red flags can make us kind of
What?
fearful,
Oh, yeah, afraid to get hurt.
afraid to get hurt.
Mhm.
Exactly. Like we're so worried about avoiding the bad that we forget to look for the good.
Yeah, it's like you're walking on eggshells.
Totally.
Yeah.
So maybe instead of obsessing over red flags,
We should be looking for
green flags.
green flags, yes.
What are some green flags we should be on the lookout for?
Well, the article mentions kindness,
Okay, kindness. That's a good one.
empathy.
Empathy.
Huh? Good sense of humor,
Of course. Got to have that.
shared values,
Ah.
and a willingness to communicate openly and honestly.
So basically someone who's kind and funny and shares your values and is a good communicator.
That sounds like a pretty good catch.
That does sound like a pretty good catch.
Yeah,
So yeah, maybe we should be focusing on the green flags a little bit more.
I think so.
It's like shifting our perspective from what we don't want to what we do want,
Right.
from fear to possibility.
I like that.
And this ties back into the whole idea of reframing singledom.
Oh, yeah, being single and loving it.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
it's not a waiting room for a relationship.
Yeah.
It's a chance to build a life that you love on your own terms.
Create your own happiness.
Exactly. So how do we actually do that? How do we reframe singledom in a positive way?
Well, the article gives us some really good tips.
Okay, I'm all ears.
First of all, it says to focus on building a life you love independent of a partner.
So basically, don't wait around for someone else to make you happy.
Right. Do it yourself.
Do it yourself. Pursue your passions.
Yes.
Nurture your friendships.
Absolutely.
Take care of yourself.
All of it.
All of it. Mind, body, and soul.
And the article also says to challenge those societal norms and expectations around being single.
Oh, yeah, like the whole you're getting old, you need to settle down
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. That pressure to be in a relationship.
Oof. It's so annoying.
It's outdated.
It is outdated.
Yeah.
It's like we're supposed to feel ashamed or embarrassed for being single.
Right.
But the article is like, no. Celebrate it.
Own it.
Own it. Be proud of who you are and where you are in life.
And you know what else is really important?
What's that?
Finding connection and community outside of romantic relationships.
So like friends, family,
Yeah, chosen family mentors, colleagues,
community groups,
all of it.
all the people who make your life richer and more meaningful.
Exactly. Because connection is essential for our well-being.
It is. We're social creatures.
We need each other.
We do. And those non-romantic relationships can be just as fulfilling as romantic ones.
Sometimes even more so.
Totally. It's
Yep.
like expanding our definition of love.
Yeah, it's not just about romantic love anymore.
It's about all the different ways we can connect with each other
And support each other.
and support each other.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's such an important message to remember.
Especially in today's world.
Yeah, because we're constantly bombarded with messages that tell us that we need to find the one to be happy.
Right.
But this article is like, hold on a second.
There's a whole other way to look at this.
There's a whole other way.
Yeah.
And it's about recognizing that there are many paths to happiness and fulfillment.
And a lot of them don't involve a romantic partner.
Exactly. So, yeah, this article has given me a lot to think about.
Me too. It's really challenged some of my assumptions about dating and relationships.
Mine too.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest takeaway for me is
What is it?
connection is essential,
Okay.
but it doesn't have to come from just one person.
Oh, I love that. That's so true. It really is a whole new way of thinking about things.
It is.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into how we're dating now.
Yeah.
What's like the one big takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
Honestly, it's that whole idea of reframing singledom.
Okay.
Like, it's not a bad thing.
It's not a waiting room.
No, it's not a waiting room. It's like its own destination.
It's like a whole adventure in itself.
Exactly.
And it's about really owning that.
And you know what else?
What?
Don't forget about all those other amazing relationships in your life.
Friends, family.
Chosen family mentors.
Yeah, all of them.
Because those are important too.
So important. This article really makes you think differently about what it means to be single.
It really does.
Like, it's not about giving up on love or anything like that.
Right.
It's about embracing where you are right now.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe this whole journey of being single will lead you to something even better than you could have imagined.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, keep an open mind.
Keep an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
So to all our listeners out there,
Yeah.
remember this. You are not defined by your relationship status.
You are a whole person all on your own.
Exactly. And you deserve all the good things life has to offer.
Whether you're single.
Or in a relationship.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So embrace the freedom.
Yes.
Explore, connect, grow.
And most importantly, have fun.
Yes, have fun. And don't forget your sense of humor.
Always gotta have that.
Because dating can be a wild ride.
Oh, it definitely can.
So keep those hearts open.
Yeah.
And those minds curious.
That's what it's all about.
And we'll see you next time for another deep dive into something fascinating.
See ya.